Blessed be my witches, my spiritualists, and welcome to another episode of Witch Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today we are going to be doing the first part in my ink series. Yes, my witches, yes, 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 yes. Inks are used when it comes to magical workings, when you're doing spells. You can use it for petition papers, you can use it to etch symbols on wood, or whatever you want to do. Now, traditionally, there would be dragon's blood, dove's blood, or bat's blood ink that was used for magical purposes. When an ink is done properly, there are a few different variables in it. It is not just a dragon's blood ink. Dragon's blood ink has other things in it as well. But what I've found is a lot of the times when you are buying certain types of inks or you're trying to make your own, there's these clumps and it doesn't end up coming out right. And then when you take a look at a lot of the ingredients in some of these dove bloods, dragon's blood, or whatnot, you notice that they're not exactly conducive. Now, I know that's a little confusing because there's not just one dove's blood or dragon's blood or bat's blood recipe. There are many. And I have at least a good 14 or 15 different blood inks recipes that I use regularly. There's all these different types of inks. Well, how come it is that when we go to the shop or the bodega or whatever and we pick up dove's blood ink or dragon's blood ink, there is only a certain level or a certain amount of ingredients in it? Well, because those are your standard ones. However, your inks can be tailored for certain things. As long as you stick with some fundamental bases, right, you can actually change it up to make your own. So, today what we're going to be doing is, in this series, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to make a base. Dragon's blood, dove's blood, and bat's blood in 3 different videos. And this base will allow for you to be able to make many different types of dove's bloods, dragon's bloods, bat's bloods inks. You can even change them up, call them whatever you would like to call them because they're made for a specific purpose, but the fundamental key ingredients are there. So the first one we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing our dragon's blood base here. Now, as you can see, I'm running out of my dragon's blood. So that's what prompted me to make these videos. So what are you going to do? What are you going to need? Well, first and foremost, you're going to need a bottle that is airtight. If you do not use an airtight bottle, what will end up happening is that the base to your inks will evaporate. I'm not going to be doing this directly into my dragon's blood ink simply because there is a process to this. What else are you going to need? For the first part of this, you are going to need coffee. Now, dragon's blood ink is a good all-purpose ink, okay? I find it very powerful. It can be used for really anything that has to do. You can use it for love. You can also use it for banishing in the right context. You can use it for protection. You can use it for bringing up a little moxie. You can do it in lust spells. You can use it in building up confidence. You can use it in so many different things. So if you're doing, let's say, a confidence spell and you wanted to, let's say, etch your name on a candle, and as the candle burns, your power and your strength and your confidence is going to grow, and you're creating that vibration and so on and so forth. So you're making a little talisman to place under your candle. Dragon's blood ink is perfect for that. I found that coffee in a lot of inks, they like to put coffee in it. I don't like to put coffee in any other one but my dragon's blood ink, and I'll tell you why. Coffee is a stimulant. Okay, it speeds up, it heats up, it moves, it projects. It's almost like lemongrass in that way, transferring one thing to another. It's a very, 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 very powerful botanical when it comes to purging and moving and cleansing and speeding up and stimulating a situation. And this is the reason why I use it in my dragon's blood ink. This first part is really, really simple, y'all. So I'm just going to take my spoon. I'm going to take my master bottle here, and I am going to spoon in some coffee. Okay, so the next thing you're going to be needing is isopropyl. Now people, this is what you need, not rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, although it's like 90% proof or whatnot, there is still water content in rubbing alcohol, okay? This here is something completely different. This is pretty much entirely, I think it's like 99.99% alcohol. This one here, now I don't know if you can actually see it, but when you rub it, it is a dark, dark, dark red. Okay, so I don't have a lot here, so I'm going to fill up a little bit more here. That's good. Okay. And I'm going to close this off and seal it off tight. Okay? So in here, what I'm doing is I am steeping my coffee. Okay? I am infusing the coffee ground into the isopropyl. Now, a lot of other dragon's blood recipes, you'll hear them say use essential oils. The essential oils will stay separate from the isopropyl. So you're not actually melding those energies together. And you want to meld the energies together. So what I do here is I would actually leave this in for sometimes 24 hours. I have been known to let this steep for a fortnight and whatnot. But considering I want to get this video out for y'all, I am going to let this steep for a little over 24 hours, and I am going to come back and complete the rest of this. So the next part of this, which is my spiritual list, is very, very, very easy. However, you do need to take certain precautions because isopropyl is not like rubbing alcohol. I have a mask here, I have gloves here, I have my windows open, because with rubbing alcohol you can spill it, you're fine. Isopropyl, you'll feel it. You can actually feel the scent in your sinuses and whatnot, you know, so it's really quite strong. So I always like to let people know that, you know, don't skimp on this. Actually do this because it does make the world of difference, and you'll find that you'll have respiratory problems if you aren't taking the correct precautions. Okay. So what are we going to do now? So now we are going to just take some of our, that should be enough. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to start powdering this down. So you may be asking yourself, why isn't Odin doing any prayers on this? Normally I would stop and do prayers. The reason for this is when I am doing any kind of inks, I actually don't do prayers on them until I have a specific purpose that I'm going to be using it for. Now, this is quite interesting because once I've written the text or use the ink in whatever way that I choose for whatever spell ritual I'm doing, then I will empower the ink because it's still a liquid form, and because it's an alcohol, it's a higher vibration. So what I like to do is I like to specifically choose the prayer that I'm going to be doing after I have manifested it on whatever I'm going to be using it for. And that I have come to find that my grandmother was very right in working with it. When you do it in that way, you actually become more focused in your intent and the magic that you're going to be sending out. So for me personally, this is what I do. You don't need to use a gum arabic. The gum arabic is what gives it that thick consistency when you have your inks. Personally, I don't like them to be that thick. But if you choose to have a thicker type of ink, you can always add as much of the Dragonia Cinnabari that you would like, the dragon's blood that you would like, because it is a resin and it will actually meld with the isopropyl and it will become the consistency that you like. So you're really, really working from a very powerful standpoint here when using the correct items. Well, that's a lot actually. That might be a little bit too much. So we're going to take some out and we're just going to add in bit by bit. Because I've made quite a bit here and we don't really need that much. Or maybe we will. We'll see what Spirit is saying. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our sieve here. Okay? And we are going to... Whew, child, that's what I'm talking about. And we're just going to start to mix this together. I can already feel it, my witches. I can already feel it. So I'm going to be putting on this because I can smell it in my lungs already. So now I'm going to add a little bit more of the dragon's blood in here. And you are getting a nice red consistency here. There are some coffee grounds in here, and that's fine. If you want to run it through, let's say, a coffee filter or whatnot, you can also do that. I really don't care about it because the coffee grounds have a tendency to stay on the bottom, and I kind of actually like having them in there. So I just do them a little bit of a sieve through it, nothing major. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start incorporating this into my master bottle. Now, you want to take all the little chunks. Again, like I said, right now they're still in a hard form, okay? But after time, they will actually become part. And I'm going to get all of the resin in here that I can. And you want to tighten this up as much as you can. Now, what you'll notice is I always use a see-through glass here. Although it is an amber bottle, you can still see through it. And why I do this is because when you turn it, you'll be able to ascertain whether or not where the infusing stage is with your dragon's blood ink. Alright, so I still have a whole bunch here of my base for my dragon's blood ink. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to close this up, I'm going to clean this all up here, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this for another use. So when this bottle here starts to go down, I know that I've had this one steeping for a longer duration of time and I can use this. So it actually ends up working out in your favor. And as I said in some of my other videos, I actually will just put the base in these a lot of the time and just leave the bottles of isopropyl around, in a place that they're going to be safe to ensure that, the house doesn't catch on fire, somebody uses it and burns the crap out of themselves. But I will use this as a base and I'll write right on it, bat's blood, dragon's blood, dove's blood, base. Bing, bang, boom, you have it, and you're ready to go. Alright, my witches, my spiritualists, that is our episode for today. If you have not pressed subscribe, you know you need to press subscribe, join the Witch Please family, and do not miss out on a thing. You can follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, as well as Facebook. You can always send me a personal email at witchpleaseofficial@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment below. Don't forget to press that bell icon so you're notified when a new video comes up, because you know you don't want to miss a thing. I said it before, my witches, my spiritualists, and I will say it again. It is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic. And you are always in my heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch Please. I love you, boo-boos. Bye-bye.